Many blessings to everyone. I hope that everybody is doing well. It's been a little bit since I've connected, and so I'm glad to be here. It is Thursday, and it is frigidly cold here in New York City. I hope that where you are, it is a little warmer. And of course, there's those parts of the world that are actually even colder than we are here in New York. And so I hope that you're staying warm and safe. Hibernation, right? Weather patterns, we look at the seasons. In spring, we feel uplifted and, we feel purposeful. And in the winter, we feel sort of lethargic and with a need to kind of stay in cozy reflection. Summer is about purpose, again, sort of like living, experiencing, gathering, the fulfillment of a harvest, like action. And then, of course, autumn is the reverse, is sort of collecting, starting to gather. And there's a lot of reflection in autumn as well of what we've accomplished, what we've done, and what we intend to put into the future. Anyway, I had no idea I was going to start with that. But I never have an idea when I do these videos. I'm sort of like led through spirit to share whatever I need to share. Sometimes I come with a little bit of an agenda, and today I did, but it wasn't about the seasons, and so there it is. If you see smoke, of course, I have an incense burning to just clear the space. I have my Nag Champa, which I absolutely love. Just clearing the space and opening up a field for us. Thank you so much for joining me on this YouTube channel that I'm so grateful for all of you who are supporting the sharings and the emails and all the comments that I received. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very much. And I was inspired today to talk a little bit about the messages behind the messages and tying that to how sometimes there are people, places, and things that are a catalyst to invite us to get to another point, to make a decision. And a lot of times when we're in the midst of one of those experiences, we get caught in the emotions, in the flare-up of whatever is going on, like here in the engagement of the situation and the people, that we don't see what's really going on behind the scenes. I'm going to explain that, share that, some of my insight of what I'm trying to illustrate, if you didn't have an aha moment yet. We'll start simply, I think a lot of the inspirations I get not only come from higher above when I meditate, when I receive divine insight, but also from the beautiful time that I spend with my clients and students and the observation of trying to listen to what's going on in their lives and helping them, And I had a student in one day this week who shared that she was a little heightened and a little anxious over the fact that she's been having some problems with someone who reports to her at work, and how they had scheduled a meeting, and this was coming up, and of course she was feeling heightened about it because there's been conversations in the past with this worker and it hasn't been positive. And so anyway, she talked about her anxiety and the problem with this employee. I, as an observer, invited her to see that perhaps the problem may not be the employee itself, although it may seem that way, but maybe an invitation that it's time to either assert herself, to feel empowered and have a voice and be able to speak. And or maybe even the invitation may be for her to start looking for another position, another job. And I know that sounds radical, but again, sometimes, every time that we have a situation, it's always calling for us to take a stance of some sort, whether it's to be a listener, to be compassionate, to be assertive, to take an action, to help someone, to lead someone, to learn something. There's always something. But again, a lot of times when we are confronted with something that's uncomfortable or, something that's hurtful, we hone in on the actual person that may be creating this feeling or situation, when really it's the invitation of the action that should follow, that's the real calling, and the real reason why this situation is in front of you. And we hear it all the time. I'm actually experiencing some situations like that myself, where my son, I feel, is being a catalyst to make me aware of a greater situation, And again, from the surface, it may seem that my son is having a situation, and he is, but the situation is causing friction in the household. And if we observe, how everybody responds during a situation, we get to learn a lot about the structure of things or the support of, the people involved. We get to see a lot, and so I have my eyes pretty, set on, okay, what's the bigger message here, and I see that a lot, and I've seen that a lot this week. And so my first invitation is, if you find yourself engaged in a situation or involved in, unpleasant drama with people, certain people, yes, it's in front of you, and yes, you need to move through it and address it, but make sure that you also take the time to be an observer and see what the situation is calling of you. Is it calling of you to be more assertive, to love yourself enough to know that you have value in what you need to share in your feelings? Perhaps it's inviting you to make a choice. I was going to write a book many years ago. I never did, but it was going to be titled the comfort of your discomfort. And I still love that title. And it's the synopsis of it is that we become sometimes comfortable in our uncomfortability. We know that we're not happy. We know that we don't belong in a certain place, situation, in a certain relationship, in a certain job. But we become comfortable because we convince ourselves otherwise. It's not the right time. But what about if I move? What's going to happen? And so we have all these fears, we have all these doubts, we have all of these uncertainties that, believe it or not, we choose then to stay uncomfortable in a situation that becomes the comfort zone. Yes? And so the message with that is that sometimes we need to allow ourselves to gracefully feel uncomfortable in the transition, in the action of making some movements and some choices in order to get into a more comfortable place in our lives, in our life's purpose, in our peace of mind, and our wellness, right? And so, yeah, I just kind of felt that that was an important share that I wanted to to talk about with you today. And I hope that, I trust always that it finds a home. Anyway, it is time for some oracle pulls. I am sitting with the Archangel Power cards, tarot cards, and I like this deck also because it's soft, but it's also very precise in the messages. We're going to take a moment to again clear the space, use our breath to remove any debris, any blockages, anything that may not serve us at this moment. We call upon the guides, angels to surround us so that we can receive a clear message for the moment that we find ourselves in. I don't know how many cards I'm gonna pull. You know how it works. As many as we need to. Feeling ready. And the first card out is the Ten of Raphael. Love and blessings fill your life. Harmonious relationships with family members. Happily ever after. I love that card. It's a promise card. And of course it's talking about some kind of relationship, you know. I never like to box anything, so it could include any kind of relationship that we're harnessing, but I also have to be authentic and feel that this is a partnership relationship primarily, and saying, you know, you're working through some issues, you know, you're going through some changes, or you have gone through some changes, but stability coming, you know, an exhale after a lot of work and dedication. And I feel almost struggle to get either the relationship or yourself to this point where then you can have happily ever after. I feel mutual respect here, mutual like complementary. In other words, communication may have been an issue in whatever relationship the oracle is highlighting for you, but either there is a shift in, you know, in a positive way for the communication of a current relationship, or the harnessing of a new relationship where there's going to be an even keel of receiving, you know, giving and receiving, especially on that area of communication. Really strongly feel that. Okay. And these are in reverse. The World. A very happy ending. Woo, there we go again. Coming full circle, spiritual growth and insight. There is a message. There's a common thread here. Happy endings. And so once again, you know, this is a fulfillment. You know, I feel coming out of once again, something heavy, something that was a burden, taxing, overwhelming perhaps, uncertainty, and just really, I feel almost like in a flash. In other words, almost like by surprise, something coming, something surfacing, something manifesting that is almost going to take your breath away and yet bring you to that place of exhale of, oh my God, I did it. You know, I arrived. And again, I feel a lot of effort. So you're being celebrated. This is Archangel Michael in the World card. And I have to highlight that because Archangel Michael, of course, is the remover of obstacles. And so, you know, yeah, that's where that, oh my goodness, you know, like I barely made it, but I did. And the sense of gratitude that accompanies this card and saying like, thank you. Thank you. And so if you are finding yourself at the cusp of a situation, you know that this is a promise card as well, saying you're gonna make it through this, and you know you're gonna have such happiness, such joy, gratitude at the result of the ending of whatever situation you're experiencing. I almost don't want to pull another card, but I'm gonna pull one more. King of Michael, wisdom and objectivity are important right now. Stay in your integrity. A situation that calls for honest and open communication. Yeah. I feel this almost like I feel like the first two cards were a prelude to the message of this card, which is honor yourself. You know, as you go through these transitions, of course, we always have to make choices. You know, as we're moving, we create shifts that may have an impact on others. And just staying true to you, but also to the integrity of being able to share that, share whatever you may need to share. More specifically, this could be needing to resign, you know, and having to share that with an employer, ending a friendship, you know, and needing to be honest about why, or a relationship, you know, and being compassionate about it, you know, knowing that you don't have to put the gloves on, or that you do not need to go into a defensive mode, but to speak as clearly, to express as clearly and as compassionately, while all the while staying in your truth, you know, and knowing that when you speak your truth, it may not be heard, or it may not be understood, and that's okay anyway. Yes. Ooh. And you know what? I feel like I need to pull one more, and I trust the divine, so here it goes. You know, the Seven of Michael. There is a better course of action available for you. Working alone may not be the best answer. Review all the details. Deliberate intent is what I feel here, and I was just speaking to a beloved this morning and saying that we are, you know, literally in the energy space of needing to be very mindful, very clear, very precise, and in integrity when we are putting out thoughts or intentions of manifestation, because we are in a very intense energy of instant manifestation, you know, and so we need to be very precise, and we need to be clear, and that calls for us not to make any decisions out of haste, out of impulse, you know, out of anger, but to make sure again that we become the observer, and that we move with precision, with deliberate intent to whatever it is that we're going to be putting out into the universe, because if you put it out there, it is going to manifest. And so if you're putting it out there, you know, out of anger or depression, then it's not necessarily what you want to draw to yourself, you see. So look, if we're having heavy emotions, we should honor them and move through the flow of them, but not use that state to be in a creative state, you know. Honor our emotions, but we need to be clear when we're setting out intentions. Yes, there's a better course available for you right now. Again, the sense for not being hasty, for, you know, moving deliberately and just looking at all the opportunities and all the different invitations, doorways that are open, and knowing that there's a reward when you take your time in moving with deliberate intent. Yes? Ooh, I feel the intensity of those cards. I told you that this deck is whimsical, but it's also intense. Just to review, the first card out was the Ten of Raphael, love and blessings, communications I felt in this card, and finally coming into a place of harmony and divine exchange. And I did feel primarily partnership relationships, promise of a happily ever after. So conclusion, the World card was the second card, and again, Archangel Michael here, promising the, you know, the assistance with the removing of obstacles, happy endings. So something coming into completion, being able to take the exhale after a lot of effort and work. The King's Michael was wisdom, objectivity. I felt integrity, being able to speak your truth, needing to have conversations with compassion, but also with your integrity and with your stance in, standing firmly by what you're sharing in your truth. And the final card was the Seven of Michael. There's a better course. And review all the details. A need to move with deliberate intent, right? I hope that those cards spoke to you. I hope that they delivered a message for you. I hope the sharing in the beginning of the video finds some resonation for you. Of course, I love to hear from you guys. I love the comments, the sharing, and of course, I just want to do a little sharing myself. We're all geared up here in Staten Island as we continue the unfolding and the organization of the Spring Holistic Expo, which is scheduled for March 3rd. I know that you guys watch from all over the world, but for those who happen to be in the tri-state area, if you've never come to one of the expos, they're amazing. There's always beautiful light workers, beautiful workshops. And so if you happen to be in the tri-state area or are visiting and happen to be around the weekend of March 3rd, it will be at the Hilton Garden Inn, and we'd love to see you there. Of course, slowly but surely, the Emergence Retreat in Costa Rica is literally around the corner, March 31st. Loon and I will be hosting a beautiful emergence retreat. And I know there's been a lot of inquiries about it. If you're sort of on the fence, waiting, a day like today here in the tri-state area, it would be like an automatic, like, yes, I want to go somewhere warm. But of course, it's so much more than the beautiful scenery there. It's about the rebirth, the reflection, and the healing and empowerment that is going to be experienced during that retreat. And so if you're interested, make sure to reach out to Loon or to myself, or to find the event in the Ciencia Solar webpage or the Facebook event page, Emerald Paradigm. There's a lot of ways to tap into more information regarding the retreat. And of course, I want to also express my heartfelt gratitude to the Patreons who've been supporting me at Patreon. There's amazing mystery teachings that I have been sharing there on that channel, and the dialogue continues to expand, and I'm so happy that it is speaking to the subscribers. And if you are inspired, of course, I invite you to check it out. But I'm so ever grateful to the supporters there who allow me to share the mystery teachings and the other goodies on the different tiers. And what can I say? It was amazing connecting with you. If there is a subject that you would like me to speak about, I know that some have asked me about Lyrians. I think it was temperance. I sort of feel like I may do that in the Patreon, only because I really do consider it to be like a high dimensional teaching of the mystery teachings. Not everybody is fully aware that we have so many dimensions and civilizations here. But I'm still waiting for further instructions on that. But if there is a topic that you would like me to share, of course, I invite you to leave me a comment, and I will definitely open the door for consideration. Yes? Well, tomorrow is Friday. Loon and I have been sort of pretty good doing the Emerald Paradigm at about 11-ish every Friday. I don't know if tomorrow is a go, but I'm pretty sure that it is. So just check us out at about 11 to see if we're streaming tomorrow in the Emerald Paradigm. I hope that you guys have an amazing day. As always, I leave you with my love, my light, and with my peace. Have a beautiful day, and don't forget that I love you.